particularly countries like Italy, that you won't believe, has a very high rate in allergies, followed by United States America, and then we have Australia. So must be a reason why people actually becoming so intolerant to certain, could be environmental chemicals, or even actually can be food. Let's get in through. So before I actually start all my presentation, I'd like to just mention that if you suffer from any intolerance or any allergy, you need to follow your doctor's advice. What we're actually presenting today is informative and educational only, okay? Food allergy and food intolerance. We're going to see the difference in between the two, okay? Just to be clear, allergy is an autoimmune response to certain food, but it's very exaggerated allergy reaction or response to your immune system. Why this is happening is really unclear. So it's a lot of people now, professional people, they don't really understand why this is happening. The reason, my personal opinion, is actually we're living in a world that everything is so plastic, let's put it that way. And so we're going to actually unfold that comment later on. So many people has heard about anaphylaxis. Is any actually people here with anaphylaxis or any cases of anaphylaxis? No? Okay. We've got actually so many cases these days coming up in Australia, and it's not new. It's many years ago, and it's coming in Italy, and as I say, United States, the leading countries together with Australia. Now, anaphylaxis it's just an example of one food allergy. Now, can kill in a minute. Just simple as that. Can kill a person in a minute. That immune reaction to certain food, like peanuts, is the protein in the actual peanuts that can cause the reaction. Protein in eggs, and some other protein that we're going to actually see later on. That can kill in minutes. A severe anaphylactic reaction includes difficulty breathing, swelling of the tongue and throat, so loss of unconsciousness and collapse. And later on, the person can die. So that's very important when you go into some college with a nut-free. My daughter goes to a nut-free college, and unfortunately, we need to just really follow the instructions in there, because if my daughter get a peanut sandwich, for instance, and she get the peanut in the finger, and for some reason she pushed the door, and some peanut got into the door, and then the anaphylactic child come here and touch the peanut, can get the reaction straight away, and he can die. So that actually is very true. It's not an exaggeration of parents or college. So when you hear somebody having this reaction, you really need to take it seriously, okay? Now, let's go with the next one. In Australia, every year we have 10 cases around that die from anaphylaxis. They're all children, okay? We got that in adults, but it's not as popular as actually with children. The rise of food allergies, in particular, concerning Australia, more and more children are actually predisposed. They're actually getting these conditions. You can see here this poor little guy here. This is actually a reaction. You can see the lips have probably tripled the size, and the reaction was due to peanuts. Okay, so he didn't even eat it. He only touched a bit of peanuts, and the reaction went straight away. The statistics indicate that 1 in 20 children are suffering from food allergy here in Australia. 1 in 20, that's a lot. I mean, you know how this reaction travel for me because I really wanted to have it. And she said, okay, come and just leave your children with the dad and just come here. So she went home, had the eggs, and unfortunately, a trace of the egg got into the scarf. She didn't notice. When she was grabbing the baby, suddenly the baby was starting to get swollen all around the body. She couldn't understand why, but she knew it must be eggs in my actually clothing, so they have to go and rush to the hospital and get the shot straight away there. So that CV is the reaction to some children, okay? Now, this frequency of anaphylaxis is increasing, and this has been attributed to the increased number of potential allergens to which people are exposed. When we're talking about allergens, we are talking about chemicals. When I went to a seminar about this, I was asking the expert, don't you think maybe we blaming the peanuts because they're causing the reaction, but don't you think it must be an accumulation of chemicals into the child that now is showing a reaction to the peanuts as a last point? And she said, could be. But because there hasn't been much research into, because if they do the research, they're going to end up knowing the truth, and they're going to end up taking a lot of stuff they're using already in the markets, so it's not commercially good, put it that way. Okay, so now in the USA, anaphylaxis causes approximately 500 to 1,000 deaths in a year. We don't have that many in Australia, but as I said to you, we are the third country. Italy is leading, second is actually United States, and then we have Australia. However, the figure is difficult to determine accurately because of the underdiagnosed. So that means that people doesn't know that the children has this. So suddenly the child died and we don't know why. So it could be some of this actually happening to you. And some people say, well, there is nobody having allergies in my family, so my children shouldn't have it. This is not a genetic factor. This is actually something that you can get it as an exposition to allergens, chemicals, okay? That you may be coming from a country like Brazil, Portugal, Chile, or any other country that you wasn't really exposed to chemicals, so that's not your case. But by living in this country, I call that we live in a very plastic country because many things actually are man-made today. Even animals are really feeding with a lot of stuff that they can grow quickly to be sold in the market quickly. So this is all about making money. And that making money business is a lot of chemical involved, so that actually affect our children and as well as us. Okay, let's see actually here. Aspartame is one actually chemical. I'm not sure if you have heard about aspartame. It's actually a replacement for sugar. And many years ago, they say aspartame is going to actually help a population to lose weight because it's a sweet, but it's not high in calories, so it will be good. 10 years later, they found that aspartame was killing people, and instead of actually losing weight, it was gaining weight, was putting people on weight, more weight than we thought. So we have some countries here, I'm not sure about Australia, that they actually banned this chemical. While excess sugar contributes to weight gain, excess consumption of sugar-free products contribute to weight gain and more serious side effects. We have some yellow here, I don't know them much, but I was getting it from the internet. It says sugar-free. Don't trust anything that is labeled sugar-free, because yes, you have a question there? Yeah, I've got actually another slide there that are going to actually come up. Yeah, so basically, as you can tell, there is many chemicals. This is only one. I mean, we can go the whole day, the whole week, looking for so many other chemicals that really actually, even in chocolate, we have battery chemicals put it in the chocolate, and not to mention all the ones. So it's just really, they're using chemicals to swap the floor and that sort of thing. So it is just amazing. Okay, so we have dye product here, sugar-free there. We have ice cream and yogurt light in fit. Not that I'm promoting fat products, but if you're going to go, that's prefer you go for the fat, complete fat, because you will get less trouble, put it that way. You're going to get a bit of a saturated fat in your body that you can burn with exercise, But these things get accumulated in your body. And some experts say that you accumulate those products in the sexual organs. So that's why we have so much breast cancer and so much prostate cancer in men. So every chemical of this kind, the body doesn't accept it, so it goes straight away, remember, to our sexual organs, okay? And have you seen the boys with breast? Little kids, like at 10 years of age, with breast? I guess they eat a lot of chicken. Chicken is very plastic. From all of the meat that I can recommend to people, chicken is the last one. Because chicken, you can get a chick today, in 5 or 7 days they grow up, it's ready for sale. So this is not a real chicken that the one that you used to have with your grannies and in the farm. It's completely different. So that actually fulfill with hormones and chemicals. They all go into your sexual organs. And by the end of the day, boys are developing breast. Okay? So if your boy is developing breast, watch up. Okay? Let's go. Now, I've got aspartame here. That is actually sugar substitute in many products. You have canes, sugar, biscuits, all around the packages. Look, every time you go into the shopping, trying to look all the sugar-free, they go up aspartame. If it's a name that you don't know clearly, you better get your internet iPhone, look for it, what sort of side effect you got, and then you decide to buy it or not. Now, this poor little actually rat, he was having an intake with aspartame. You can see that he was developing within a couple of weeks this big tumor. So imagine if we actually consuming those products on a regular basis, we also contributing to produce tumors in our body, and that can end up in cancer as well, okay? Now, there is another case here for the girls when we dye the hair. Have you read the warning sign in the boxes? It says, sensitivity test for coloring hair. Any cosmetic product may cause unexpectedly an allergy reaction. So they cover in there as well because they know that there is people that will suffer for those chemicals. So for this reason, a sensitive test must, and it must come in bold, be carried out 40 hours before dyeing the hair. So that they telling me I have to try in my skin and a little piece of my hair and wait 48 hours because the reaction can be delayed in 2 days. So I can put my hair, dyeing my hair today, and I can have the reaction on the day number 3. So you can put the dye in your hair today, and you say, no, nothing happened in half an hour, nothing happened, so I can go with it. And then you have the reaction, and you blaming, I don't know, the poor capsicum or whatever in the food that you were eating, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you have to blame somebody, eh? Okay, so it's important to read those labels and make a wise decision. Now, let's keep on going now. Now, we understand food allergy, okay? So which is an immune reaction. So the immune system actually attacks yourself and it swollen the throat and all the airways so you cannot breathe and you die eventually. Now, food intolerance don't involve the immune system at all. It doesn't involve your immune system. What it does, it triggers a reaction in the nerve ending. In the stomach, I'm not very expert about the stomach composition, but you got nerves all around your body inside. And those nerves are very sensitive to some chemicals, okay? You can actually, we're going to see the symptoms that you may have. They vary from person to person. Now, the chemical involved in food intolerance are found in many different food and even in nature. And this is actually become more complex because you may say, oh, well, I have my veggies and my fruit and I still have an allergy. I shouldn't. So we're going to see why. For example, in vitamins, in flavors, and aroma substances, you can have those chemicals and they can actually trigger your system. Okay? You're not falling asleep? Otherwise, I'm going to stand you up and make some exercise. We're going to have Karina making some, breaking then. So you let me know, Karina, when, okay? So you just calculate about when it's ready or time to go for it. Okay, also plants that contain substances which are poisoning to humans. And that's actually happened to me. At the end of the session, I'm going to actually share with you my experience, how I became food intolerant, and how was my battle to really fight for my life, because I thought, really honestly, I'm going to die from cancer in the stomach because the pain was every day and every night. So we're going to talk about that at the end of the session. Now, food intolerances are not well understood at the moment, how they can, but some people are born with a sensitive constitution. So that means that maybe your child is actually having some reactions, some itchy, so you can tell the kids are having some kind of actually reaction to environmental things, to chemicals or to food or whatever. So they say that you are born with it, okay? And to understand, I don't have a whiteboard, but let's say you got a line here. This is your line of threshold. The threshold is the limit of those chemicals. So when you actually are below, there is no reaction. As soon as you are here, you're eating your banana, your pear, your chocolate, your thin, then you were exposed to some chemicals, and then the threshold went over, and then you get a reaction. When you go through the threshold, you get a reaction, whether it's going to be hives, whether it's going to be a stomach pain, or asthma even, okay? So we'll see in a moment that would make more clear. Reactions to ingesting an offending food are delayed by hours or even days, up to 3 days, okay? Up to 3 days, you can even have a reaction. If I'm reacted to lactose, I may have lactose today, but may have the reaction in 3 days later. So how can I actually test it? Very simple. You need to stop taking your lactose for about a week or two, trying to get your body away from lactose, and then day one, you got a diary here. Day one, I got actually a glass of milk. No reactions. Second day, another day, third day, and then you may have the reaction, my stomach is painful. And then you blame something else when the one to blame was the milk. So this is what actually I did myself with the food intolerance. So I worked for about almost a year to find out what I was reactive to. Okay. Now we have, the other hand, we have celiac people, okay? People that has intolerance to protein in wheat, which is actually gluten. You know that the gluten is nothing else more than a protein from the wheat, okay? Now we got barley, rye, and oat. Oat naturally doesn't have any gluten or any protein that is causing that problem. The only protein in oat is called avenine, which is coming from avena. Avenine is actually protein from oat, and doesn't cause me any trouble because I have tried. So thanks God that I can have oat, but it needs to be gluten-free. So basically, that's actually the protein found in there. Now, celiac disease could be causing a number of other problems long before it manifests itself as a disease of the guts. So you may have headaches for many years, and you don't know what it is. So what is the best way to know that if you're a celiac or not is undergo the actually gastroendoscopy. So you need to actually talk to your doctor and say, doctor, I have a feeling that I may be celiac because I have tried so many things, you have tried so many other things into my body, and I'm still having the symptoms. So I want to have the celiac test. So you book into the hospital, and the hospital is going to look for the little hair they call celiac in your guts. So if those actually little hair are destroyed, that means that you're celiac. But if they're actually still there and moving nice and sound, that means that it's something else. But usually, that's what actually come up. I haven't got the test because that means that I have to go on wheat for 4 weeks to know if my celiac is destroyed. I don't want to destroy. So I didn't undergo that test, but still I feel absolutely great without the gluten. And I've been there for 2 years without it. And many other symptoms went away. Particularly every winter, I suffer from earache and throat ache, and they all went away, never ever. And I used to have all the skivvies and cover my neck, cover my ears, because winter, like an old woman. And now you can tell me that I'm not wearing a skivvy today, yes, thanks to the kicking the gluten. Anyway, okay, let's keep on going. The reaction causes inflammations and damage to the lining of the small bowel, which impairs its ability to absorb nutrients. And this is the other thing of celiac. You feel tired, you're not absorbing your iron, you got your B12 very down, vitamin D is low. So why is everything low? I'm eating well, got my iron or getting my vitamins. For some reason, I'm not absorbing. You're not absorbing because your gut is a mess. because the celiac are not there, okay? So that may be actually a symptom that you can even ask your doctor to really check if you're celiac. Let's go talk a little bit about gluten. It's a protein found on wheat, barley, and rye. Oats is cross-contaminated when processed, but it doesn't contain gluten. And you know when they actually plant all the by seasons, they got wheat, then next season go with the barley, next season going for oat, but it's getting cross-contaminated with the actual protein, okay? So that cannot be part of my diet. Now, question, is wheat safe to eat? What do you think? Yes, but eaten in moderation. The thing is, like, we are eating too much gluten in our diet. You know that even ice cream got gluten. Soya, how's it called? This soya, how's it called, this liquid, the black one? Up and Go got actually wheat pix, which is actually gluten. Soya sauce, that's what I want to say. Soy sauce has actually gluten in it. There is so many things that has gluten. Do you know why? Because they give taste, they give a consistency into. So even sausage, sauce like for your pasta, they got gluten. So every time I'm going to the shop and I have to double check the ingredients and say wheat, barley, and now because by law they need to actually clarify if they have gluten or not. So for people like me. So we're not eating in moderation these days. Sorry to tell you. You may say to me, no, I'll never eat wheat. Wait a minute. But you're eating a lot of stuff that have in it, hidden in there. So you consuming regularly. Okay. Using heat-treated cooking or baking is safe to eat, but only if you are not gluten sensitive. So if you have no trouble with your gluten, you can have it, but in moderation. Don't eat it every day. Eat every second day. Try a bit of a rice next time, something else. So a variety. Remember the 3 key? Variety, moderation, and balance. So the 3 key to survive, okay? Now, wheat as a raw grain is not safe to eat because some people, they actually chew it. Some grain, like amaranth, they chew and they say that they can get all the nutrients because the raw flour. With wheat, you cannot do that. The cooking need to break down the protein, another protein in there, okay? Now, contains enzyme blockers and lectin, chemicals that are toxic to the animal, including human beings. So this is actually the enzyme that they need to be actually lectin. They need to be minimized or actually reduced, not to be toxic to your human consumption. Okay, now, heat, however, destroy this toxin to save level of consumption here. Now, people who have gluten intolerance can lead to celiac disease. If you have gluten intolerance in myself, for example, and I'm still eating gluten stuff because I really love it, but I just, doesn't matter my pain, I can really end up with a celiac disease, okay? Now, and end up with a celiac disease is not good because my nutrients are not going to be absorbed. And that's going to end up with a deficiency. Now, the longer it goes undiagnosed, the more damage occurs to the intestine and the rest of the body. It is a slow-working poison, unfortunately for some people, okay? Let's go. Is the wheat that is growing today the same as wheat that was cultivated 100 years ago? What do you think? No, definitely not. And that was one of the reasons. An expert here that I got here is a PhD. If you really want to actually get into the good information, is the gluten connection. The gluten connection is a PhD girl, nutritionist, that she unfolds the bad about gluten for most of the population. Even if you don't have gluten intolerance, you will benefit to cut it off a little bit, okay? The answer is no. Now, bioengineers are continually working to produce wheat with more gluten and better gluten. Why is that? Do you remember, probably, well, I can't tell you to remember because we haven't been living 100 years, but remember that my mom used to say that the bread used to be the whole meal bread, a big heavy rock, okay? But today, it's crunchy. You just press the bread and it's just really, nice and crunchy and you feel like a little cracker there, Like the French bread and the beautiful, but just because it's been actually manipulated and it's been done to be more palatable. So at the same time that they're doing that, they're damaging us, unfortunately. Okay, so here it says has been genetically modified so that wheat that is actually planted and harvested today is considerably different from the wheat that our grandparents harvested meal and used for baking. So it is different, unfortunately. It's different to the one that Daniel used to actually store in the Egypt containers or store containers. Yeah, I have a different name, that one, but that's a pure wheat, okay? Now, solution, eliminate gluten for your diet for life. For the intolerant people, like me. I'm not celiac, I'm intolerant, so some people said to me, well, you can just try a little bit, you know. From now and then, you're not going to be making so much damage. But I think this is like a cigarette. You have to cut it off completely, because once when you say, you're actually embracing another time that you're going to have the bread, and I say, I'm playing with my health. And I have to remember how sick I was, so I don't want to get back to there. So when you say no, it's like I say no to cigarettes, so in my case. Okay, now replace with other grain. You have rice, amaranth, millet, besan flours. And now I was making focaccia. I know that it's beautiful focaccia, but I'm making for myself with corn flour, and it tastes beautiful, and I get used to it. So Lord is helping me to replace those actually flavors. And so now, allergies, just summarizing allergies, so we can make the break in there after this summarize, because then I have another section. Are immune reactions to unique protein components of a specific food, like a protein, eggs, peanuts, and as I say, milk as well. This includes celiac disease, protein, wheat, and gluten, celiac disease, and anaphylaxis. Now, intolerance is a body reaction. Don't involve the immune system at all. This body reaction is triggered by various natural food chemicals, and that's what we're going to talk in the next session after Karina. Additive which causes reaction by irritating the nerve ending. Remember when I told you, let's say that you got actually, this is the nerve ending here, they've been affected, and that causes pain because nerve transmit sensations, whether it's going to be pleasure or it's going to be pain. So those nerve ending, those little things are getting actually damaged, and they actually, they are painful. Okay, that actually I have to experience myself. Ending in different part of the body, skin, airways, nervous system, and stomach, okay? So we're going to leave it to here, and Karine is coming to ask some questions.
Okay, let's see if you can answer these questions. Now, if you think you might know the answer or have a guess, you can stand up. But we're going to have a bit of a competition, okay? It's this side versus this side. So we'll have one person to read the questions on this side and one person to read the questions on this side. Oh, you might want to change the slide, please, or block it out. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Phew. All right. So I want to ask, or does anyone want to volunteer to be the leader of this team? Denise, you're the leader. You'll get a prize too, don't worry. You automatically get a prize. And on this side, who wants to be the leader of this team? Miriam, you want to be? All right. So it'll be like this. The more people stand up, the more points you get for your team. Okay? Thanks, Denise and Miriam. So you'll have to stand here facing your team, and you stand here facing your team. So we'll start with Denise. She'll ask the question, and the more people stand up is the more points you get. And then even if you don't know the answer, you can stand up, pretend like you know the answer to get more points. And then Miriam will actually pick someone to answer the question. Okay? Okay. Hopefully you can read my writing. But this one's easy. Okay, first question is...
Okay. Just read the topic because that's the answer. Okay. All right. What is a food allergy?
All right, stand up. What's a food allergy? It was up on the screen a minute ago. All right, we got 1. Is that your hand up? 2. So either Anna or Olavo. Yeah. 3, Lucy. Okay, who do you choose?
Dulce?
Dulce, pode responder.
Responde. O que é food allergy? O que é isso? A definição, a explicação. Por que a pessoa tem alergia à comida? Mas por quê?
Yes, at the immune system reaction. That's correct. Okay, so you got to keep score of your team, okay? So we got 3 points for this team. Okay. The next question, I didn't finish writing it. It's
Ok. Para esse time, essa aqui todo mundo pode levantar porque é muito fácil, hein? Can a person with an allergy to peanuts have an anaphylactic attack from touch? Uma pessoa que tem alergia a amendoim pode eu acho que eu vou falar. Can a person with an allergy to peanuts have an anaphylactic attack from touch? Ok, Denise pede alguém.
That's okay. You can be, but
Sabe por quê? Não, sabe por quê?
Ah.
Porque a minha neta tem alergia, tudo que é nuts, tudo. Ela come. Mas ela não pode comer.
Não, mas é possível. É possível. Aqui, presta atenção. Presta atenção. Eu não estou dizendo que toda pessoa, aqui está dizendo, uma pessoa pode ter alergia se tocar, ela pode. Não é todas as pessoas, qualquer pessoa. Can a person?
yeah. Por causa disso, yeah. Yeah. But let me just clarify, when you know the answer, you're not supposed to say it yet. Okay? You can only say the answer when Denise picks someone. So that one doesn't count. All right, but how many people then put their hand up to start with? Yeah, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's say 7. 7 points. Because they're the only ones that actually raise their hands. Okay, 7 versus 3. It's all right. Okay, next question.
Okay, this one is like A, B, C, D. So this amount of children suffer from a food allergy. Is it 1 in 20? Is it 1 in 10? Or is it 1 in 50?
Okay. All right. Listening? How many children suffer from food allergies? Is it A? Is it A, 1 in 20? Or is it B, 1 in 10? Or is it C, 1 in 50? No. You have to put your hand up if you know the answer.
She said 1 in 20. That's correct. So how many points is that? Oh, hang on. I'm forgetting to give the prizes.
Oh, okay.
So 16 points. And Dulcie, you can come and get a prize for answering the first question. And Jody, you can get a prize for answering that question. And who answered? So, yeah, they all said the. So, yeah. Jody? Pode escolher qualquer coisa que tá aqui. Quick, Jody. Escolhe um. Carib. Okay, next question. Okay, this is the answer, and that's the question.
What's the name?
Stand up. Don't say the answer. Or hand up.
Okay, that's easy. What's the name of the chemical that is used in sugar-free products and also in rat poison? Nossa, que grupo honesto! Que grupo honesto! Ok, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ok, Denise? Angela?
Good.
Angela?
Class 11.
Eu já estou chamando a Angela.
18. So we got 18, 16. Oh yeah, good.
Presta a caneta.
All right, we're only 2 away over here, so this point could save your day.
All right, ready? Listening? Do allergy reactions occur straight away, or can they take a few days for the symptoms to appear? Don't say the answer. Don't say the answer.
Ok, anulou. A mãe falou pra ele.
I could be picky with that answer. I could say that's half the answer, because it's both. She's counting the hands. 13? Okay. 29 versus 18. Next question. Wait. Okay, what is that? What is that? Yeah. So what is a...
Yeah. What is food intolerance?
Food intolerance. This one got what
Vocês
was a
sabem,
food
you
allergy,
know,
immune system
you know.
reaction, food intolerance. What's the difference?
Tem allergy e tem intolerance. Yep. Yay!
How many people was that?
Quantos levantaram a mão? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lá, eles estão todos levantando a mão no MetaWatt. Estou escrevendo aqui.
24. This is a true or false answer. Oh, maybe we should change the question. True or false is too easy. Okay.
All right, ready? How long can it take for the body to react to food intolerance? So, yeah, I'll just rephrase it so it makes sense. If your body is intolerant, how long can it take for you to get a reaction? Up to how long can it take?
Up to how long can your body show a reaction? Or can a reaction appear? Nine. Whoa. 1 to 2 weeks. Good try, good try. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. It's yeah.
It's a bit confusing because some this one here, what she said.
Good try. Okay, I think the question was, how long does it take for a food intolerance reaction to appear?
The reaction to appear with the symptoms is 3 days.
3 days. But I think you've been very brave in answering the question, so you can get a prize for showing good effort and listening carefully.
Thank you for participating.
Yeah.
Obrigada, Joel. Ok, vamos lá.
Okay, so to clarify that one, it's the
Even the reaction can come as far away, can come in the second day, but as far as people extra telling us, it can take up to 3 days.
Quantas pessoas levantaram a mão, Denise?
okay.
9?
9.
Ah, não, mas...
We'll just add.
Ah, então não ganhou nome, né? Eu não sei se não ganhou. Tá.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah.
What is?
Yeah. What is? Yeah. It's an immune reaction to what? Select
Ah,
immune reaction to.
ok, so... Então...
Yeah.
To what is celiac disease? No, sorry. Celiac disease is an immune reaction to? To what? Celiac disease is an immune reaction to? Vocês sabem, gente, nossa. Então, segura a mão aí. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ok.
Correct.
Is that gluten only? Sorry.
Yeah, gluten or anything that has. That can be a next question. What is gluten found? Answers gluten. All right, well done. 9. So the score at the moment is the score at the moment is 33 for this side and 29 for this side. So very close. Two more questions to go. Okay. Oh, actually, I don't have any more questions. All right, we'll come back at the end and then we'll ask some more questions. So it's 33-29 at the moment.
Okay, so we're going to actually go, she's going 50, and then there you go. Get back here. Okay, Max, sorry. Now, we could actually, grabbing your... Oh. Now better? Okay. We got actually a number of food intolerance symptoms here, and I want to actually give you this picture so you will be clear. So the first one, we got skin, and that actually is hives and itchy. Have you noticed sometimes when you eat something and you feel like itchy, and I think this is really causing me the hives and stuff. So that's one reaction. The other one can be airways, people with asthma. I feel like a blocked nose when I'm eating milk products or cheese or any other even some people that feel actually eating peanuts, they can feel actually blocking nose, so that can be the airway as well. Then we've got actually a gastrointestinal area. That was my part. That was the area that I was suffering myself. So I have a bit of a skin, gastrointestinal. You can have a mixture of all of them, or you can have only one or two, depends of you, okay? And also you can have nerve system. You become very irritated, nervous. You may have a panic attacks from time to time. You can get suffocated. So it's a number of symptoms that is not related to really food. Sometimes you feel like it's more emotional, but food are triggering all this. As I say, symptoms may vary from person to person. The commonest one are the following, so pay attention. Recurrent hives and swelling. So and that happened to me. I remember when I used to have my bread, just bake, and with a bit of a butter, just, you know, nice and hot and crunchy, yummy, melting in your mouth. And about half an hour later, hives in my body. Even my husband said, wow, can't believe it. Big hives and itchy and swollen and very, very big. So that can be one, and I have that one. Stomach and bowel irritation, pain in my stomach constantly there, and I don't know why. So it could be the liver, could be the stomach. So it was always there. Other one, headaches. I never have headaches. So, but you may experience that, and you may not have the hives or the bowel irritation. So this is actually, as I say to you, vary from person to person. Now, some people may feel very unwell with flu-like ache, pain, like earache, throat aches, as I say to you. And I remember that every winter, I knew there will come my ear infection because my ear will get inflamed and with pain, and then the infection come up, and then I was having like a flu kind of symptoms. And but when I cut it off the gluten, it took me probably about a year to detox my body from gluten, and then never ever I've been feeling pain in my ears or my throat, and that was amazing. If somebody would have told me before, I would have cut it many years ago, but I didn't know, nobody knew it. Doctors cannot really pick up this. It took me 3 years going from doctor to doctor. They never could find anything like that. Anyhow, they said to me, "You're working too hard, you must be under stress." And they all told me that you have to slow down. I wasn't slowing down, but nothing seems to be good. So they said, "You're a very nervous person." So at the end of the day, I was feeling me like a bit of a nut because people was telling me so many things that no one could actually really fit into my life. Anyway, then I'm usually tired. You're very tired. You feel like you have no energy. You wake up in the morning, but you wake up tired. Something is going on with me. I'm well. Run down or moody, upset easily. You get cross very easily. Well, that may run in the family as well, actually. Nothing to do with allergies or intolerance, okay? Children can be very irritable and restless. Particularly children, they cannot really explain. They become irritated and very moody, okay? Children may aggravate its behavior, problems such as ADHD, hyperactivity. So if you have children that is hyperactive, it may benefit from cutting the gluten. Okay, and babies can develop colic irritable behavior, reflux, loose stool, eczema, and nappy rash for the little ones, okay? Now, we're going to see now chemical composition. This is very important here because this is going to be probably new for you. And that was new for me, and this is actually the key that really saved my life from having a good quality life. Now, there is 3 elements that fruit and vegetable contain. They call salicylate, which is actually that one there, aminos, and glutamate. Salicylate, we're going to get through that in detail, but are the pigmentation of the fruits and vegetables that actually protect them from insects and pests. So they actually increase that level of salicylate when they are unripe. When, let's say we have a tomato, I think I have the graphic. When we have a tomato unripe, the salicylate levels are very high. So if I eat a tomato like that, I'm going to get a reaction that probably I'm going to end up for a week very sick. So I have to eat it when it's ripe. When it's ripe, salicylate level is getting down to the safe level to me, a person that is actually salicylate intolerant. This actually was found not many years ago in the Royal Prince Albert Hospital. They run in a team, yes? Yep. Reaction. So it was actually, yep. All swollen. Yep. And this is salicylate. Can she? Yeah, and you know what happened? Remember when I told you that you have to know what is your threshold, okay? She may have 1 pitch, but if she have 3, she may have a reaction. So you need to manage where is your threshold, and that was the way that I have to work myself, and it took me 6 months to a year to really balance my threshold and actually find what is my level of salicylate, aminos, and glutamate. So what actually she's suffering from it, but she can manage. How? She take away the one to blame, the fruit to blame, or the chemical to blame, and she's starting to add in slowly in order to increase that threshold and have the maximum reach. Because you need to know how you can reach it, and then you can have a better quality life. So what is your daughter's name? Diana. So Diana must really be very careful about what she eats, I guess. Yeah, she managed well. So you actually carrying the shot with you, do you? Yeah. No? So not anymore. Okay. Because when children are suffering from anaphylaxis, which the airway gets swollen, you need to have the shot with you, the pen, and so just to inject it at the moment that they're having the reaction. And I tell you that some parents, and you need to be very well educated with the situation, instead of actually giving the shot to the child, they actually inject the shot to them. So on the other side, opposite, and they don't have any more shots. So when people have this kind of condition, you need always carry about 3 or 4 of these shots in case that you miss the shot in the wrong direction that had happening before. And it must be very devastating. If you don't have the shot, your child will die. So yeah, you always need to check your daughter, because even that she's, how old is she? 8 years. Well, when they're getting older, they can manage better. Yep. Yeah. So let's keep going. We have those salicylate, aminos, and glutamate. Then we have environmental chemicals, and we're talking about petrol stations with the petrol fumes, pollute airs, etc. And man-made chemicals added to food and cosmetic, creams, cosmetics, and all these kind of things. And I remember that I got a brother-in-law, he's a naturopath, and he said, if you can't eat it, don't wear it. So she said, if you can eat that cream, put it on your skin. And which is pretty true, you know, like even if you have those cream with about this bunch of ingredients that you don't know any of those. The only one that you know is aroma and perfume, and then the rest is wow. And then, like you feel like it's a Greek language in there, some long names, isn't it? Latin. So basically, if you don't really trust them, don't wear on your skin, because you're absorbing everything to your liver. Okay. Now, salicylates are family of plants chemical found in most fruit. As I said to you, vegetable, nuts, herbs, spices, honey, yeast, extract, tea, coffee, juices, beer, and wine. Now, the aminos come from protein breakdown. Levels increase as food age or mature. When you got overripe tomato, have you seen those tomatoes a little bit like that? You know, they almost threw it to the bin. They're very high on aminos. Very high, okay? And a person can get a reaction as well, okay? So you can find it in meat, fish, cheese, etc. In fruits, bananas, tomatoes, and olive are the highest as well. Are present in sausages, fruit juices, chocolate, nuts, seed paste, jams, and fermented products. And you know what? Every time I eat dates, and because date has a very high level of sulfates, I get a very severe reaction in my tongue. Very red and broken, all broken, and it lasts for about half an hour. It's an immediate reaction that I get there with dates. And when I tried your cake the other day, I got a reaction. And I thought it's beautiful, but I have to just get easy and just trying to. There was some day I couldn't tell. My body was telling me it's a date in here because the reaction was all around my mouth. So I love dates, but the only date that I can have is organic one, because the organic doesn't have any of those chemicals. So then glutamate is an amino and acid found naturally in almost all food, and it enhances the flavor of food. Have you heard about food adding MSG added? But that MSG is a man-made. This one we're talking about is actually the one naturally occurring in fruits and vegetables. But the main one is worse because it's a concentration and it got a number of problems, even weight gain, even it can increase the sugar in blood, so diabetic. So it's a number of problems with the MSG. Now, here I got the graph in here. You got the tomato here unripe here. It's actually very low in glutamate and aminos here when it's unripe, but very high in salicylate. The greener they are, the better, the worse. As it's going on the process and it's getting actually ripe, preferred flavor, low in salicylate, low in glutamate and aminos. That's why we have the Christian prophet Ellen White. He said that you need to eat your fruit ripe, not even unripe or overripe. You have to throw it. And now I understand that. Because once I said, but how are you going to throw the food? I mean, still you can eat it because it's not bad, but it's overripe. And overripe for some people like me, it can give me a lot of trouble, and like your daughter. Okay? Fruits and vegetables. There is actually, yeah. What can I... But you know what I think? I think this is my personal opinion, and I think for the genetic manipulation of food, I think this is getting worse. I know that there is some cultures that eat unripe bananas fry, but I think by eating it fry, you can minimize the salicylate levels. But my theory is that probably for the over manipulation of fruit and vegetables, this is becoming worse now today. Yeah, genetic modified food. I've got a book here. This is the book that I was following, the elimination diet. In the elimination diet, it tells you here what sort of food is low in salicylate and what sort of food is actually higher. Let me actually get the listing here. I'm going to pass it on, and you can actually see. And even here, there is actually a lot of a list of additives. In here, I have a list of lots of different numbers that you, as an intolerant person, you should avoid, okay? Because they will cause you a very high reaction. I want to see the gluten-free that I was following myself. Here, food chemical charge. In here, you can follow, here is. If you go in here, just to show you the book, you can't really tell much, but the very extreme here on this side is very low. So that was the food that I was able to eat while I was on the elimination diet. That actually line, it told me that I could eat only bananas and apple, the pear, sorry. That was my only fruit that I have to eat and must eat during the time that I was having the elimination diet. Reason is because it was the lower in salicylate and aminos and glutamate. So then later you can have a look at this book here, and it's going to actually tell you the low lined, the moderate, and the very high. On the very high, there was everything that I love it, cherries, tomatoes, avocado, all the things that I love to eat. And I was praying to God and say, God, you create fruits and vegetables and I can't eat them. I feel betrayed. I feel that I want to die because every time that I was going to parties or even lunches at church, I was carrying my pear and my banana. That was the only thing that I could eat. It sounds really awful, guys, but it was my sad days. And so honestly, because the pain still was there and my body was in a detox kind of stage, it took a month to detox my body. And so I thought, if this is going to be my quality life, I really want to diet. Because, and I was probably 10 kilos less than I am now, so I was very skinny. So, and people was asking me, like, people that were losing weight, oh, I would love to have you this, you know, like, just to be skinny. Anyway, but they didn't even know what they were talking about. Now, thanks God that He got me out of this, and I've been actually be able to talk about it. And even now, we, with the Royal Prince Albert Hospital, they have a website, which is called fedup.com, because really you got fed up with this problem. And my name is there as a support person, so I'm helping a lot of people in Australia. They're having the same problem that I had, and so giving them tips and tips how they can manage this. Not long ago, that was my big surprise. There was a lady coming from America. She's been living here for 6 months, and she said to me, "My 2 kids, 6 and 4 years of age, we came in from Arkansas. Never a problem with the allergies. They came here." 2 months after they actually arrived to Australia, they started to have all these reactions and hyperactive behavior. So she was ending up with many doctors not being able to really fix the problem. She ended up with the Royal Prince Albert Hospital, and she's been talking to me, and we've been giving some advice on what to follow, how to do it. But it is actually that actually happened a lot in Australia. So it must be the air we're breathing. I don't know, but according with what I've said, is a lot of chemicals and manipulation in the food. Okay, so let's go quickly now. How you can manage by eliminating, how you can, if you have a suspicion about you being intolerant to something like, what is your name, the daughter's name? Like Diana, so the mother has to take that away and then maybe putting back and then taking away again. So in many cases, you need to actually find what is the trigger, what is the food that is causing the problem. So this is the way that you have to follow, elimination diet. So you're eating basically nothing for 4 weeks, and then you're starting to put in cherries and all the red color. You need to put all the red color. You put a bit of a cherry, a bit of a tomato, a bit of a capsicum, and then take it away for a day or two, and then you wait for the reaction. Third day, nothing happened. Putting back now something else, and you have to be very consistent and very conscious about it. And I did it because I was very desperate. And I found that actually I was very reactive to red color, strawberry, capsicums, even watermelon. I was very reactive, pain in the stomach, very bad, that lasts for a week or 2 weeks. So then I have to start all over again. But that gave me the bottom line to understand that the food could cause me a lot of trouble even for 2 weeks. The brown rice, believe it or not, it caused me a lot of trouble as well. Brown rice, it must be the protein in the brown rice that actually is not breaking down, can cause me up to 3 weeks of being sick. 3 weeks of pain in the stomach, feeling unwell, feeling very tired. So the only way that I can eat brown rice, I can mill it. I can put it in the grain machine, a mill machine, and grain to the very, powder, and then I can eat it. That's the only way I can eat brown rice. So I thought I'm going to do this experiment because I really need to know. And I say, Lord, this is the brown rice you have made. I want to be able to eat it. I can't eat it just like normal rice. So when I saw the brown rice there, and my daughter said, Mom, this is the brown rice, I put it on the side and I was eating the white rice. And some people said to me, oh, Rossana, you're teaching all the goodies about health and nutrition, and you're eating white rice. Why? So they don't know exactly the answer, but I say, look, I'm eating my basmati rice, which is still low GI, and still you got some nutrients, and it's actually hasn't been bleached. So that's the reason why, but now you know the truth now. I can't eat really brown rice, but for that reason, because I'm intolerant to the protein in the rice. But now you can break it. And I managed to actually eat the rice, but I need to actually pulverize the rice in my milling machine. And now I can be able to eat it. Thanks God for that. Anyway, so let's go. And when intolerance becomes severe, you must go to the elimination diet consisting of 4 weeks of period time. And then you add in, taking away and putting back until you really find which one is the one to blame. When I found that it was tomatoes and all this kind of thing, it was causing me the trouble, I went 2 weeks without it, then back again, like just a piece of tomato, then wait for another 3 days, a bigger piece of tomato, and so on. I was playing up. It was really a playing up until my threshold level, it was increasing. It was getting a little bit more tolerable. And then I was able to eat more. So now I can eat my tomatoes, I can eat my capsicum without any trouble. But now the problem is the question, what was causing me to get to the top of my threshold? And I'm going to tell you at the end why I think it was what it was, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share with you. Now, you can begin gradually reintroducing food to reestablish your own threshold for each food chemical. So, as I told you before, then good news, intolerance needed to be permanent. You will probably find that your threshold will fluctuate over time, and you may eventually be able to return to a more normal diet, and I have done it. So this is completely true. By systematically reintroducing food groups according to their chemicals content, you can fix yourself. Food is my medicine, and medicine is food. Isn't it true? Now, so we become to the last part of the session, and let me tell you just about my story. I remember that I was probably, when I was 40 years of age, I started to introduce a lot of actually herbal, natural herbal medicine in my home. And because I have my naturopath was my brother-in-law, so he was really handy to us. So every time I feel something, I say, hey, just give me a herbal preparation because I feel tired. because I feel like I got the flu, because I have this and I have that, and give me for more energy. So I was having a lot of actually of these natural herbal remedies. But the time went by, it was almost 3 years. And then one day I was getting sick with the flu. And I asked him to give me a preparation of this herbal thing. He said to me, I'm going to give you a very strong one, so it's going to really kill the virus. He almost killed me. I went on bed for about 17 days, unable to walk, unable to really, I was feeling me like an old woman. I couldn't stand up from the bed, 17 days. When I went to the hospital, to the doctor, they said you have inflamed your pancreas, your stomach, your liver, everything is inflamed in there. So why? What was that? Then my story began. 3 years later, I was ending up in the Royal Prince Albert Hospital, and doctors there found that my level of salicylate went over, because during those 3 years that you were abusing those herbal things, your salicylate level was increasing. By the time you were sick, it was already high, so you have the very, very high doses of herbal preparation, and that gave you an attack that almost could kill me. It is very sad for me to remember those days, because I thought really that I'm going to die. And I get very emotional because I thought I became betrayed by my Lord, because I was following his reform, and I was ending up so sick. But the Lord gave me light, and he said, you're going to become great, and you're going to be able to help other people, but you need to get through this to be able to help. So by getting to this experience, guys, I was suffering a lot. I've been able to help other people, and I thank God for that experience. And happiness now and a happy end. I'm fine. I'm able to eat a lot of food now. This gluten is only one little bit that I can add it to my diet. But I want to thank God and glorify his name today, because he's a great God. We serve a great God, and sometimes we need to get through some pain to understand and to be able to help. So if you don't have any more questions, guys, we come into a conclusion, and maybe Karina has some more questions that you can probably answer now. So any question, guys? Yes? Yep. Yeah. How old is your daughter? 28. Yeah, for the celiac disease, you got to be very strict, very strict. You can't even touch flour, because by touching the flour, you got actually a reaction inside. So in your daughter's case, well, she's 28. She's probably old enough. Yeah, she can have a control. She has gone through the test, does she? Yeah, so she's positive. She definitely is celiac. For the rest of her life, she has to be extremely careful about not getting anything with gluten. Even her family will actually go gluten-free, because if she cooks for family with gluten and she cooks for her without gluten, it's a cross-contamination and she will get sick. So that far is a celiac disease. It's a very chronic disease. So you got to be, you can manage the disease. You cannot, is not a cure for it. Yeah. Unfortunately, so your name is? Marina. Marina, unfortunately, because wheat has been modified from, let's say, about 80 years ago. So they've been trying to recreate a wheat that is better for selling. Many people like your daughter and like myself, we have to pay the consequences. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think we have to be positive. That when we are diagnosed with something like this, I think is the entire world coming to the ground. Because what am I going to eat? What am I going to do when I'm going to a party? How am I going to actually be able to make a decent life out of this? And you can do it. Look, even she's not going to be able to manage like we do it with intolerance because it's an autoimmune disease. But she will be able to have a life. In Australia here, we have so many alternatives. And if you can go to the shopping, we got a gluten-free section available for people. And thanks God. I mean, now that I'm going to overseas at the end of the year, I'm looking into the website in Chile that I'm going, if I'm going to be able to find bread for me, or otherwise I said to my husband, I'm going to actually get a luggage full of gluten-free stuff for me. I'm not going to suffer. And I want to come, like having a good holidays. And yeah, so basically, yeah, with your daughter is a good actually stuff in here and alternative. So yeah, so is it different with Diana? Diana actually she got intolerance, not actually allergy, so she can manage. It's exactly the same case that I'm having. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah, number of people with celiac are growing, unfortunately. And now what happens if I am intolerant to gluten? If I'm intolerant to gluten and I don't do anything about it and I still keep eating gluten, like because it's not severe. I mean, I got a bit of a heart, a bit of here and there. If I don't do anything about it, with the time, I can become celiac. This is exactly like when you got a high sugar in the blood. You can actually become type 1 diabetes if you don't do anything about it. It's exactly the same thing. Okay, I think this. Any other question? No? Okay, Karine, I think your time.
Okay, 4 more questions. Only 4 more. So can I have my helpers, please? So who did the last question? Miriam did, was it? Okay, Denise, your next question.
All right, ready? Name one reaction to a food intolerance. So there's lots, but you can name one. If you know one, put your hand up. One reaction to a food intolerance. So hands up so I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No? 9.
Eu quero dar esse ponto para vocês, Daniel. Daniel. Swelling. Okay.
Okay, next question.
Ok. Esse grupo, name... A Eni já tem a mão em pé. Se você souber, põe a mão para cima, tá? Name one chemical that may cause a food reaction. Food intolerance reaction. Name one chemical that may cause a food intolerance reaction. Um químico. Era um... Yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Ah! Ok.
Sandra?
Yeah, that's So that was 8 points, was it?
Ela pode vir buscar, Thaís?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Second one.
All right, ready? Yeah, I count it. You have to listen to the question first. All right, ready? Okay. An elimination diet can be used to identify a food intolerance or allergy. True or false? An elimination diet can be used to identify a food intolerance or allergy. True or false? Don't say the answer. Just put your hand up. True. Don't say the answer.
Andrea. Hã? Verdade. True.
That's correct.
Todo mundo levanta a mão, hein?
Okay, last question. This is a long one. Introducing the foods to true or false? True or false?
True or false? Can a person with a food intolerance return to a normal diet after introducing the foods to a tolerable threshold? Eu vou ler de novo. Can a person with a food intolerance return to a normal diet after introducing the foods to a tolerable threshold? Quer dizer que uma pessoa que tem alguma intolerância, né? Se ela pode retornar a uma dieta normal depois de introduzir comidas, ela vai aumentando o sistema. Ela vai aumentando gradualmente a tolerância.
Who has their hand up again? She even knows the answer. Karina. Well, I'm looking at you. True or false? True.
Oh, that's correct. Well done, Karina. You may get a prize.
E agora eu já não sei. Será que os dois vão ganhar de novo?
Now it's very close, the points. Very, very close. This team has 50 points, and this team has 52 points. So, Denise, you can choose 2 prizes, and Miriam, you can choose 1 prize. I suggest you try this. Oh, no, not that one. There's another one. Oh, it's gone. What is it? Oh, no, I thought it was different. It's just a spread. It's like a spread. Yeah. What about mine? There's a macadamia one. I'll definitely want one. Thank you for all your participation, and I hope that you have learnt something new today. And we would like to thank Rossana as our presenter today for taking your time to be here today. We have a gift for you that we think you will enjoy. It's in Spanish. Spanish CD by Regina Mota.
Quero agradecer a todos vocês por terem estado connosco aqui neste diferente JA, que é bem diferente do costume. Mas assim que eu ouvi, uma vez que eu fui ver a palestra da Rossana, eu falei logo com ela e disse, Rossana, tu podes fazer essa palestra lá na nossa igreja. Então, porque achei muito interessante e é muito bom nós sabermos o que está a acontecer com o nosso corpo, muitas vezes a gente não sabe, e afinal é alguma coisa que nós comemos que o nosso corpo não quer aceitar. Agora quero pedir à Miriam para fazer o favor de fazer uma oração, a terminar o programa desta tarde, e lembrar a vocês, amanhã às 11 horas temos os arranjos florais, as flores, como fazer arranjos de flores. Eu não sei quem está vindo, só conheço algumas pessoas que vão vir. Não esqueça de trazer $20. Esse dinheiro é para que vocês vão não só ver, fazer, mas vocês vão fazer também os vossos arranjos. E então, depois vocês levem as flores para casa. E então, esse dinheiro é para cobrar as despesas das flores que vocês estão levando para casa. E traz um finger food para a gente comer. Allergy free.
Então, oremos, meus irmãos. Vamos ficar de pé? Querido Pai Celestial, te louvamos pelas grandes bênçãos, pelo privilégio de estarmos aqui e aprendermos mais das coisas que são importantes para nós. Obrigado, Senhor, pelo conhecimento que estamos disseminando. Obrigado por termos a Rossana conosco, sua família. Obrigado por cada um que está aqui presente. Que nós possamos realmente, Senhor, cuidar do nosso corpo, fazer o melhor para ele. Queira estar conosco durante esta semana. Nós pedimos e agradecemos em nome de Jesus. Amém.